Let's go. Dawg Pound. Just picture this scenario for a moment. A quarterback room stacked with Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dillon Gabriel, and Jerry Sanders. Yes, you heard that right. 2 seasoned veterans and 2 electrifying rookies, all potentially battling it out for the starting role in the 2025 NFL season. It sounds chaotic, volatile, and honestly, it's about as Cleveland Browns as it gets. But here's the kicker. This isn't some wild rumor or fan fiction fantasy. It comes straight from ESPN's latest projections for the Browns rookie class and their quarterback conundrum. And what they're forecasting, it's enough to make any loyal Browns fan stop dead in their tracks and seriously question the trajectory of this franchise. But before we dive into the madness, smash that like button if you've stood by the Browns for over 2 decades. You've earned your stripes. Now tell me, on a scale from 0 to 10, how would you rank Kevin Stefanski as the Browns head coach? Drop it in the comments below. I want your take. Now, let's unpack the bombshell. According to ESPN's Mike Clay, the Browns are poised to become one of the most fascinating quarterback stories of the 2025 season. Sure, big names are grabbing headlines league-wide, but Cleveland's chaos might just steal the show. Clay's projections have Cam Ward leading all rookies with 3,300 passing yards, but that's not the real headline for the Browns. The real shocker, 3rd-rounder Dillon Gabriel and 5th-rounder Jerry Sanders are both projected to start meaningful games. 5 for Gabriel and 4 for Sanders. Pause. Think about that. That's 9 combined starts between 2 rookie quarterbacks. On most teams, that's unfathomable. Benching one rookie to start another midseason, it's virtually unheard of. But this is Cleveland, where the quarterback carousel never stops spinning. And here's the twist. This isn't injury-related. Clay implies this is performance-based, a rotation-driven not by health, but by effectiveness, the vision. Start with Flacco, let him lead for a few games, then hand the reins to Gabriel, only to later pivot again and give Sanders the spotlight. Seriously, when was the last time an NFL team did that without being forced to? It doesn't happen unless you're the Browns, and it gets even spicier. This situation goes deeper than depth charts and QB ratings. It's about philosophy. Dillon Gabriel feels like a Stefanski-style quarterback, system-friendly, efficient, dependable, but Jerry Sanders. That's a potential Andrew Berry or Jimmy Haslam move, a high-upside, brand-building quarterback with undeniable raw talent and market appeal. Could this internal tug-of-war between coaching vision and executive ambition spill onto the field? You bet. If Gabriel falters, expect those pounding the table for Sanders to make their voices heard, not behind closed doors, but in front of millions every Sunday. And let's not forget the veterans, Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett. Both in the mix, both likely placeholders. Flacco brought heart and heroics last season, no doubt, but he's clearly not the long-term solution. Pickett, talented, sure, but the fact that ESPN doesn't project him starting the majority of games, that says everything about how this front office views the future. Still think this is the worst-case scenario. Hang on, we're not done. Rookie running back Quinshon Judkins is also expected to make serious waves. Clay projects 922 rushing yards on 2-1 carries, a monster stat line for a rookie. To put that in perspective, since 2011, only 13 of 74 running backs drafted in rounds 2 or 3 have eclipsed 800 yards in their first year. That's elite company, and Judkins could be next. Judkins isn't just projected to meet expectations. He's poised to shatter them. Pause and let that sink in. A rookie running back nearly eclipsing the 1,000-yard mark, while 2 rookie quarterbacks split 9 starts between them. This isn't just a rebuild. It's a full-scale youth revolution. And whether it's the product of vision or desperation, the Browns are staring down one of the most volatile, high-risk seasons in recent memory. The kind of season that could either ignite a new era of dominance or plunge the franchise back into the abyss of dysfunction. It knows far too well. But who's truly pulling the strings here? Is this Kevin Stefanski's blueprint? Is it Andrew Berry's master plan, or is ownership once again sticking its fingers in the football operation, muddying the waters from the top down? Let's be real. If Gabriel Stefanski's handpicked signal caller and Jerry Sanders is a selection backed by Berry or Jimmy Haslam, then the moment Gabriel stumbles, the pressure will mount. Does Stefanski get the authority to stay the course? Or does the front office force his hand, inserting Sanders mid-season and igniting a public power struggle? This type of internal discord has haunted the Browns for years. Conflicting visions, unclear leadership, and instability at the most critical position. And yet, it's also what makes this upcoming season one of the most riveting stories in the NFL. So here's the question for you, Browns faithful. If you had to put your money down right now, who starts more games in 2025, Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders? Let's not kid ourselves. This decision doesn't just shape the QB room. It echoes throughout the entire offense. What does this mean for the offensive line? What about the wide receivers trying to build chemistry with two different rookie quarterbacks? And most importantly, what does this mean for a backfield that could be anchored by Quinshon Judkins, a breakout star in the making? If Judkins truly delivers the kind of rookie season ESPN forecasts, over 900 yards on 211 carries, it's not just a win, it's a foundational shift. That level of production places him in elite company. Since 2011, only 13 backs drafted in rounds 2 or 3 have cracked the 800-yard mark as rookies. Names like Kareem Hunt, Le'Veon Bell, Jonathan Taylor, and Miles Sanders. And now Judkins might be next, but here's the complication. If the quarterback situation turns into a revolving door, what does that do to Judkins' output? Rookie QBs are notoriously up and down, which means defenses will stack the box and dare Cleveland to throw. Week after week, Judkins could be staring down 8-man fronts, but maybe, just maybe, that's the very crucible that forges Cleveland's next great running back. And while the players will take the field, Kevin Stefanski walks a dangerous tightrope. On one side, he must nurture and develop two raw quarterbacks. On the other, he's expected to win now. Play the vet, and maybe you scrape together some ugly victories. But start the rookies, you risk collapse, or you discover franchise cornerstone. This isn't just about 2025. This could define Stefanski's legacy in Cleveland. Because if Gabriel flames out and Sanders stumbles behind him, and it becomes clear the front office was riding with Sanders all along, how much longer does Stefanski survive? That's the kind of political football that tears franchises apart. And then there's you, the fans, the most loyal, battered, and battle-tested fan base in the NFL. You've seen it all. Quarterback controversies, coaching carousels, ownership interference. But this time feels different. Stakes are real. This isn't about surviving another season. It's about deciding the franchise's identity for the next 5 years. Are the Browns a team that empowers their head coach to develop his quarterback, the one he trusted enough to draft in the 3rd round? Or are they a franchise where ownership storms in midseason and says, forget that, we're running with Sanders now, regardless of whether he's ready? And if both rookies show flashes but fall short of proving that the long-term answer, does Cleveland once again go quarterback shopping in the 2026 draft? The thought alone is enough to make even the most diehard fan throw their hands in the air. This is what makes Browns football so infuriating, so fascinating, and yet so full of potential. It's unpredictable. It's turbulent, but it's never boring. Because if Gabriel seizes the moment, if Sanders silences the doubters, if Judkins emerges as the Browns' next great workhorse, then suddenly we're not talking about surviving the post-Chubb, post-Flacco transition. Suddenly we're talking about thriving. A major NFL rumor is rocking the Cleveland Browns universe, and it has the Dawg Pound absolutely electrified. Chris Olave, the former Ohio State Buckeye and current New Orleans Saints star wideout, potentially suiting up in brown and orange.
Yes.
You heard that right. And no, this isn't just a fan-fueled fantasy cooked up on social media. This report comes directly from Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated, who revealed that both the Browns and the Steelers made serious inquiries about acquiring Olave earlier this offseason. Now, before you get too hyped or too skeptical, here's where it gets especially intriguing. The Saints reportedly shut down those trade talks at the time, but look closer. The Steelers, who were initially in the race, have since pivoted, acquiring DK Metcalf and effectively removing themselves from the Olave sweepstakes. The Browns, however, they never shifted focus. They didn't chase a replacement. That silence, it's loud and it's familiar. This is giving serious déjà vu for longtime Browns fans. Remember the Jerry Jeudy saga? The front office scouted and pursued him for over a year before finally closing the deal after Denver initially declined. Andrew Berry doesn't take no as a final answer, especially when it comes to wide receivers. Let's not forget, Berry is infamous for trading for wideouts. Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, Jerry Jeudy. He collects receivers like trophies. So when Albert Breer mentions that Berry kicked the tires on Olave, you better believe that interest isn't going anywhere. Chris Olave came into the league with back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Yes, he faced injury setbacks, including a concerning concussion in 2024. But when healthy, he's a dynamic, complete receiver. Not just a slot guy, not just a deep threat, a true run-level weapon. Now look at Cleveland's current receiver room. So let's be honest, it's not intimidating anyone. Jerry Jeudy, supposedly your roan, ranked 5th in receiving yards last year. Mike Woods, your War 3, has barely eclipsed 100 career yards. And Deontay Johnson, talented, yes, but unpredictable. He was released by 2 playoff rosters last season. So yeah, the Olave link makes total sense. It wouldn't just reunite a hometown Buckeye with the Ohio faithful, which alone would send fans into an ecstatic frenzy. It would also solidify a lethal 1-2 punch. Jeudy and Olave at Roan and R2. That's a foundation, not just a fix. Even better, Jeudy just started a 3-year extension. If the Browns acquire Olave, they could exercise his 5th-year option and even extend him. That gives Cleveland at least 3 years with one of the most exciting receiver tandems in the league. And just imagine the impact that has on the quarterback battle. Whether it's veteran Joe Flacco or a younger option like Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders, walking into a huddle with Jeudy and Olave as your primary weapons changes everything. No more excuses. No more questioning the supporting cast. Give a QB that arsenal and you'll know quickly whether he's the guy or not. And speaking of quarterbacks, Albert Breer dropped another nugget. He predicts Joe Flacco starts week 1. Yep, the 40-year-old veteran who literally came off his couch last year and dragged the Browns to the playoffs. And honestly, that scenario makes sense. Stefanski doesn't need Flacco grinding in OTAs. He knows what the vet brings. This offseason is about evaluating the future. Pickett, Gabriel, Sanders. But here's the dilemma. If those younger quarterbacks don't prove they're NFL ready, then it's Flacco time again. And let's be real, having a Super Bowl MVP who just proved he can still ball as your fallback. That's not a bad situation. Here's where it gets tricky. If Flacco is your week 1 starter, but Kenny Pickett looks like QB2, what do? Do you cut Pickett just because he didn't edge out Flacco in August? You gave up a player and a 5th-round pick to get him. Now factor in the logistics. Most NFL rosters don't carry 3 QBs anymore, let alone 4. You're not cutting Dillon Gabriel. He's your 3rd-round investment. You're definitely not cutting Shedeur Sanders. That means Flacco and Pickett are fighting for 1 spot. The loser, likely gone. But what if the loser isn't bad? Just not quite as good. That's how tight the margins are in this league. That's how ruthless the decision-making becomes. This front office has some major decisions looming, not just about how to configure the QB room, but whether they're ready to pull the trigger on a blockbuster trade that could completely transform this offense for years. And make no mistake, the Saints are trending toward a rebuild, whether they admit it or not. Their QB situation is in disarray, with Tyler Show slated to start. Their roster aging fast. If the Browns make the right offer, that Chris Olave could be next. Thank you guys. See you next video.